fact that there were thousands of civilians that were caught in the crossfires, and there were thousands of families that were separated due to the ongoing battle between FMLN and the El Salvadorian government.
You see, all I remember from that day was the death squad barging in through our front door, and my dad yelling at my mom, telling her to run. My mom took my sister and I to the back door. She told us to run as fast and as far as we could. But before we left, I turned back and saw 2 bullets going through my dad's head. And that was the last time I saw my parents.
There are about 700 to 800 documented cases of children who were separated from their families during the war. Only about 300 of those cases have been solved. Hello, my name is Nelson DeWitt, and I am one of the disappeared children of El Salvador.
In 1986, I decided to join the Army. The reason why I joined the Army was because my father was murdered on New Year's Eve by the guerrillas that were forming at the time, terrorizing the whole country, trying to recruit anyone they can to join their movement. Nobody was to be trusted.
I was an adopted child who grew up in the Boston area with my parents. We all lived a pretty normal American family lifestyle. At least I thought I did.
From there, the guerrillas took us in. They became our new family. At the beginning, me and my sister were messengers for them. It was very important that those messages got delivered.
In the Carter and Reagan administrations during the 1980s, El Salvador was one of the #1 highest country in the Western Hemisphere that received military aid from the United States of America. This meant that they were getting $1 to $2 million per day in aid, as well as training Salvadorian government soldiers.
It was either joining the Army or the criminals, but I chose the right side of the law, which guaranteed protection. Protection was your weapon.
Just recently, I got promoted to being a guerrilla and being able to fight in combat.
Then one day in 1997, at the age of 16, I got a phone call saying my family has been looking for me for over 14 years. Found out I had 2 older sisters. My father was shot an inch away from his heart after my grandmother took my brother and sister to Costa Rica to get away from the war.
See, unlike most kids that get ripped away from their families in order to fight in combat, I wanted to. In a way, I wanted to get revenge. The thought of destroying somebody else's family like mine was destroyed has and forever will be one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. But I don't have much of a choice.
I was put into an orphanage, and they put something in the newspaper saying that there was a lost child, but no one came for me. I was a lost child having no one to look up to. It took over 2 years for someone to finally adopt me.
Many Salvadorian citizens were now fleeing their country due to the gang violence and as well as the war in hopes of a better life for them and their families.
As the war didn't seem to come to an end, I started thinking, do I really want to keep doing this for the rest of my life? Instead, I decided that I wanted to learn how to repair vehicles so I could provide a better income for my household. That is when I decided to immigrate to the U.S. and it was the best decision I ever made for my family and I.
At the age of 18, the family who adopted me helped me fly down to Costa Rica to meet my family for the first time. I was able to meet my birth family. I felt so lucky to be able to meet my